Hello, it's Eric from E.M.B.R, and this is an update on the project 5 watt per kg over 50. That's where I'm trying to do 5 watts a kilogram for 20 minutes. Right now we've been at it for about 3 months. We're making progress, and today is just a checkpoint, see where we're at, do a 20-minute full gas effort on Epic KOM, and see where we get to. All right, we've done the warm-up. We're at the bottom of Epic KOM. I'm trying to go up somewhere around 20 minutes, but I think I'm going to start at 350 watts. And try to sustain there for a while, see how it feels, and then make adjustments either up or down depending on how things are going. So I'm targeting 350 watts for 20 minutes today, but as a reminder or as a piece of information, the real goal is 360 watts at 72 kilograms, which would get me to 5 watts per kg. I was up to about 80 kg right after the holidays. I've gradually been dropping the weight down to 74.5. Gradually over the past 6 months, watt per kg has been going upwards, and that's a good thing. We're around 4.48, 4.5, and just trying to see if we can progress it. One note on the weight though, the chart says 74.5 kg. I did weigh myself right before the ride. I'm putting on a little bit of weight because of the heat training, carb loading, but let's see where we're at. 75.45. We were down at 74 point something, so a little bit up. So we had to raise that in Zwift, and that's playing against us. But in that this is a watt per kg goal, when I'm doing a checkpoint like this, I want weight to be accurate to the day. Apologies if that introduction was a little bit lengthy, but felt context was important, and I wanted to take care of that housekeeping before we started the climb. But here we go. Don't overcook the beginning. May have been hard to understand there, but what I was telling myself was not to overcook the beginning, be conservative, start at 350, and then adjust. I am going to let the climb play out in normal speed in case anyone is interested in seeing how it was paced throughout. That said, I'll put in chapter markers and like every 5 minutes or so, and one towards the end as well if you just want to scan or jump to the end. So understood on that if you do. Not exactly goal, but that was emptying the tank on the day for sure. .6. And 101.6 is Fahrenheit, and I'm just referring to core temperature, which is pretty close to 39°C is what I'm saying. It's hot, even with all the fans on. Which means I'm already up to, without just it being Florida, default Florida. I'm not in the right, I'm getting my downhill. About a 25-minute warm-up, little primers. You saw this. And those were pure watt PBs before. Consider the weight lost, and we're making movement for sure. 75.4. The heat training is actually counterintuitively added weight. I'm not taking it off, sweating a lot, but I'm absolutely rehydrating, and I think the plasma level goes up, is somewhat what the science says. So you can gain like a kilogram just in extra blood fluid, hemoglobin, plasma, which if you want to gain a kilogram somewhere, it's a fantastic place to do it if you're an endurance athlete. So I'm not complaining, but just got to factor that in as we drop down. But that's only 11 watts off target, but 3.4 kg off weight at, so 3.4 kilograms lost and 11 watts still to gain. Still work to do. And there is still work to do, but it's always good to acknowledge and be proud of the progress as well. That was a new 20-minute PB. Zwift said 349, Interval says 348, Strava says 348. Either way, PB. We're officially north of 4.6 watt per kg now, and that's a first. And good progress since January when we were right around 4.2, as I noted. So I've got no complaints. It's a good day. Here's the intervals graph for the same climb. You can see W bow pretty much dropping right to the bottom at the end. We emptied the tank for sure. We did get the mountain goat. I didn't even see. I can probably see now. Let me tombstone this. See if it'll show me. 2026. Set around 20 minutes. I kind of figured going under would be mystical magical day on the legs, and slightly over would be about where I expected to be, which is why I picked Epic. This seemed like a good motivator for 20 minutes. And it was a little bit of the up and down, maybe shave some watts, but it also acted as little intermissions for me to catch my wind, shuttle some lactate, all those sorts of things. So it may have taught me a lesson about pacing potentially as well. So still learning what it's going to take to do 20 minutes at that kind of power. But this was a good day. This is what I wanted, a checkpoint, see where we're at. At the end of every block, I'll do something like this again and just see if we're progressing at the end of each block. Right now I'm kind of in the middle of a block, but I wanted to get it done sooner rather than later because I'm halfway through heat training and I want to get a sense of what heat training is doing halfway through, all the way through. So that said, temperature's starting to come down, so part two, after switching the bike, I turn the fans off. And the rest of this day, speaking of heat training, is going to be heat training. So I want to maintain some of the heat now that I'm no longer compromising the intensity. So let me get some clothes on. Turn the fans off. All right, with the down to 101.4, which is still in heat range. Just got to get the work back up into zone 2, and we should be fine. But if I can put in another 40 minutes or so at zone 2 with heat, or at least 30, that'll be a good Saturday. Down to 101.4. I think I got it. I was up to 101.7 briefly after that effort. That tells you why I set a lot of PBs in the fall. All 3 fans, the dehumidifier, AC, and that effort in Florida still puts you into heat strain. The bottom of it, but then I get into the fall, and this porch or sunroom can be some days 32 Fahrenheit, 0 Celsius if I don't put any heat in it. But it can be very comfortable, like perfect riding endurance with temperature out here. And then you have all this built up endurance from the heat, and bang, that throttle limiter comes off. So that's another thing that gives me some good, getting more and more confident that we'll hit 5 watt per kg. If not in the summer, then as fall kicks in, where all this accumulated training kicks in, and then the temperature comes down. 1-2 punch to get me over the final hump. The weight should be down by then too. Again, I'm going to feed myself through heat training, hydrate through heat training. It's a lot of stress. And if I pick up a kilogram, it'll come back down in time. But if I can finish this route, zone 2, that should be right around the time target as well. That's why I picked bigger loop. Nice warm up. Epic KOM seemed like a good 20-minute target, and then the back half seemed like a good heat training cool down. Heat training warm up. Cool down the legs, warm up the body. But I like route-based workouts and targets more than erg. Just motivate me more and seem more specific as well. I control cadence, gearing. Have to work when I have to work. I am gonna upgrade this. I'll start working here again in a second. But this is the rolling resistance one, which is the biggest upgrade. And it's been fun doing pace partner heat training on the gravel, slower bike, heat strained and trying to keep pace. End up having to switch pace partners when I do that, because it just, even a B partner becomes hard to hold the wheel eventually. We'll see when I end ride if that'll pop me a new FTP or not. It might be a watt or two. But this is how I've been combining heat training with an intensity day, get the intensity done, pretty close to being up to temperature when that's done. If your climate's different, that may not be the case, you may have to do, but I'm trying to do the heat or the intensity as uncompromised as I can, although it's Florida, so it's a little compromised. And then just use that head start so that I'm not wasting time getting into the heat training zone. It's working quite well. in terms of time efficiency and fatigue generation and everything else to get the impulses I want. Very efficient. And then I'll do dedicated on a zone 2 day. I'll just do that as a heat training session from the start. But no reason to skip the intensity day if you can do it intelligently, efficiently, and get good value out of both the intensity set part of in the first half, and then the just time efficient and same impulse on the heat on the back half. So yeah, this has been a bit. I'll review the week, what I've done each day, the heat training. This is day 6, consecutive. You saw what I've done the front half of this, so I would say that I'm managing the stress. And then you'll see the progress in 6 days. So this is a real quick snapshot of the heat training I've done the past 6 days, starting on Monday, zone 2 dedicated day. Tuesday, I did a race, a little bit of intensity, and that sort of got me up to heat similar to how today went. And then after that, turned the fans off, did zone 2 on the back half. So there you see a little dip where the temperature started to come down, and then peaked it back up for zone 2 training. Same thing, or Wednesday was another dedicated day, zone 2. Thursday was another intensity day to start with the fans on. Same thing as today. So the intensity days, basically I'm starting with the fans on, dressed normally, trying to keep as cool as I can, but the temperature is still going to raise in Florida. And then the back half is the heat training. And then, yeah, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday were dedicated zone 2. And over those 6 days, we went from heat rookie to heat acclimated to now I think it's calling me heat adapted. Heat champion is the final one, but yeah, we're making progress. And like I said in the video, even with this additional stress, this is heat stress in addition to intensity, I'm still setting PB, so I'm managing the stress, getting good rest and recovery. All is good, and it's hopefully going to help. But I'll do a full update on once I get to the heat champion. So probably sometime next week or next weekend, I'll do a dedicated video on the core 2 and what I've been doing, how I've been doing it, all those sorts of things. This is just a quick snapshot. I've seen people say this is suffering. I don't know. Maybe because I'm a Florida boy. This whole week has felt very manageable. This is uncomfortable in terms of heat, but it's not. I've felt far worse on a bike than this, for sure. Like, not even close. This is just I wouldn't even call it a hard session. Beginning the riding the climb in 20 minutes was harder than what I'm doing right now, in terms of suffering, if you want to call it that. I know before I've gotten the core temperature sensor, when I was marathoning training in the summer, outdoors, even early in the morning in Florida, I've been hotter than this, sweat more than this. So now I just have the metrics, no way to watch. Body's somewhat used to it, maybe why it's a little easier for me. So your mileage may vary if you're not used to being hot, I guess. Just like I would probably suffer trying to do altitude. Finishing there at 101.7. And I think we're holding / coming down. I don't think it's going up at this point because we started the cool off process. We'll look at this more in intervals, but definitely some PBs. And this was the real target of the day. Fantastic warm-up primers. We'll drill on this in intervals. And then heat, you can see kept it up, and then just slowly as I hit 102.5, 39 point, 1, 2, 3, somewhere in there. Settled it down, got the temperature down. Did a quick other interval on compromise, just 400 watts at 2 minutes. Temperature's 101.6, so yeah, we were cooled down below 102 at that point, below 39. Temperature still stayed below 39, below 102. Drop back down. Just finished the session, but all good. Oh yeah. That, my friends, was a day. But that's it for today. The next video will probably be Tuesday. We'll be doing Cityscapes, Stage 4, in the top 15 at the moment for the series. Maybe I can get into the top 10. Either way, it's been a good way to keep Tuesday Intensity Day interesting. And then, yeah, probably next weekend I'll do a more full video on the Core 2 heat training. That will be a little bit of a deeper dive on Core, the protocols, why I did it, how I did it, what my thoughts are after going through it. But more to come. See you guys next week.